Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on at Disney Plus with the weekly Q&A. So we're live here on YouTube. If you can hear me, let me know in the comments below. So we're going to be looking to go for about 45 minutes, depending on if my voice can take it. Because it's done go down a little bit of a code, but hopefully it holds out. So all the questions have been sent in advance by our Patreon and YouTube channel members, which helps support the channel, keep us going, support everything that we do here, and basically just keep the lights on and the servers and everything that we need to do for the site. And also, if you are in the live chat as well, you can send in your questions if you YouTube channel member. Then it says we can hear me, so that's great. And we've got lots of questions as well, so keep sending them in. Yeah, so let's jump in. So we had lots of different questions and stuff. I can see here, Jonathan. So a big hello to you. We've also got Dana. We've also got Khalid, and so yeah, so we've got quite a few, and we've got Matt. We've got a few people in there, so big thank you. So let's start off with the question at the title of the show. So let's say, Keenan said, ever since Disney has brought 20th Century, they've been releasing a lot less films since the acquisition. 20th Century should release more films and rated R movies. Now, I definitely feel like we have definitely had a slowdown in the amount of films being released by 20th Century since Disney took over it. However, I think there was a couple of reasons for that. First off, I think some of the projects that maybe they were working on, depending on how far they were into, were either sort of stopped, they stopped work on them, or some of them got redirected over to Disney Plus and Hulu. Like in the last year, last year we had 4 movies that went straight to streaming. So we had like Prey, No Exit. We also had The Princess, and I'm trying to think of what the other one was. Derby of the Dead was one. There's a couple of other ones as well that came out. So that's like 5 to 6 movies each, like last year, that could have gone to cinemas. I think moving forward from maybe the end of this year, next year, we're going to see more of the films going back to cinema releases to try and pull back in some of the money, because streaming isn't really making a lot of money for them. It also kind of managed to get those movies to go around the HBO problem that they had in the US as well by sending them to streamers. Plus, there was also this massive pandemic, which kind of pretty much ruined a lot of stuff that was going on. Big budgets, people not going to cinema. So I can see why Disney kind of flipped the switch on them, get the low budget films out on streaming and get them out there. Searchlight Pictures has been sending out lots of films as well. They've been doing, some of them. The thing is with those movies, they don't need to make as much. I mean, you look at like Avatar right now. I mean, I literally just got a press release just before we went live. Is the 4th highest biggest box office film of all time. So 20th Century can do it, but the last 2 years, hopefully as we move forward, we'll start seeing more of this going. I definitely feel like they could release more, and they're not connected as much to, like Marvel and all the rest of it. They can fit in quite nicely. There's just been a lot of stuff from Searchlight, and a lot of things sort of spread, and even some of the Disney films. We saw like Prey and stuff, but other things like Night at the Museum. I think Cheaper by the Dozen was a 20th Century title. The Ice Age movie. So they've been working on stuff, but it's just the entire focus just shifted to Disney, to Disney Plus and Hulu. I think as we move forward, we will see more of that. But I'd love to know what you think. Do you think we're going to see more films from 20th Century, eventually kind of going to cinemas first? I think we'll see that a little bit more with Searchlight, etc. Connor says, do you think Disney will close down ESPN Player and create a global player like Sky and Eurosport, possibly use ESPN as an add-on within Disney Plus? I definitely feel like this is something I could see happening in the long run, of them reorganizing ESPN Player. Now, funny enough, I went to look at this the other day. We got like the XFL starting up, the American Football Club owned by us sort of system that was formerly WWE, got sold to The Rock. So I thought, well, I might try and watch it. Getting in on the ground level. I remember it from the first time round, and trying to find the app. My smart TV there wasn't on there. I installed an ESPN app on my Apple TV, but then it said it was incompatible. Couldn't download it on my PlayStation. It got to the point where it's like, I have got an Xbox, a PlayStation, an Apple TV, and a Samsung TV, and not one of them had the app on. So what's the point of ESPN Player if you can't even actually download it? I mean, so I'm hoping they do sort it out, because at the minute, I can't see how it's bringing in a lot of money if you can't download it on any app. And that's it. I mean, like I said, I wanted to watch something on it, couldn't. I can't watch it on a web browser. So yeah, that's definitely an interesting way of looking at it. Keenan said, why is Paramount Plus making either the same or more content than Disney Plus, even though Paramount Plus has less subscribers than Disney Plus? Now, I think this really depends on your definition of what they're making. Now, first off, Paramount Plus is about a year or two probably behind Disney Plus in terms of how it's been rolling out. The international rollout is a little bit more higgledy-piggledy. They're also shifting their focus. They're doing actually very similar to what I think Disney are going to be doing, where their Paramount content is now going to be spread across linear and streaming. And you're going to see this on Disney Plus as well. So there's less really of an original. I think you're just probably hearing more about Disney have got loads of stuff in the pipeline for Disney Plus, but they are slowing down a little bit. All the streaming services are. I don't think necessarily. I'm not keeping up with exactly how much stuff Paramount Plus has got going. But I just know that Disney has got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Let's have a look at some of the live questions. So Matt says the mysterious Benedict Society has been cancelled after 2 seasons. What are your thoughts? Okay, so for this one here, I wasn't surprised when I read that. I wasn't surprised. I don't think the viewing numbers were as good on the second season. I'm not sure if by flipping it over onto the Disney Channel, if that impacted on Disney Plus, or if it was just a last-ditch effort to get some more viewers, or if it was just a money shifting exercise to shift that over to linear rather than streaming. I really enjoyed the first season. I thought the first season was really good. The second season was a little bit flat in the middle. It really kind of felt like they were filling for time. They could have quite easily just kind of jumped a couple of episodes, maybe done 6 episodes for that one, and it probably would have worked. It just didn't have that same kind of feel to it for me. Yeah, so I definitely think that's going to be interesting to see how that works. But let me know, what do you guys think of the mysterious Benedict Society being cancelled? I mean, they had room to do a couple more books they could turn it into, but ultimately, if the audience isn't watching, and then they're probably not cheap show. There's a lot of special effects. I know I did quite a lot of interviews for this show with a lot of the cast, with the executive producers, with the writer, most recently with the special effects person, and they put a lot of money into spending money on this show. I'll be honest, it's kind of one of those shows of like, for me personally, it's like I said, I spoke with so many people from the team and was studying it. I have a little bit more of a connection with it, so it was a little bit of a shame for them. That's definitely a shame that they're not going to be in it. But hopefully this is something they're going to work on other shows and stuff, and I think it will carry on. Whether or not we see any more of this, it might work maybe better as an animated series, maybe in the future. But at least they tried it. That's always a good thing. It's got a question here. Dana says Zerola's YouTube channel for all things Star Wars that Catherine Kennedy will be getting fired in August after the Indiana Jones come out. Do you think it could happen sooner? I don't think it will happen before that one comes out. I think there's this weird thing online with Catherine Kennedy where everyone just blames her for everything that's wrong that they don't like with Star Wars, because I don't know. I mean, The Mandalorian, all the stuff we've seen on Disney Plus, I'm enjoying that. I like The Force Awakens. The other 2 movies, maybe not so much. She has made a lot of amazing films. That she's going to be going off with a handshake and with a nice bit of cash. I've made wherever or not she goes, I think I wouldn't be at all surprised if they bring somebody in and to kind of rejuvenate Lucasfilm for the next generation. But yeah, I think some of this stuff, a lot of it is just clickbait stuff. So whoever's the best for the job, I don't think Filoni is maybe the best person. I think he's better at the creative side and being put into that role of he has the creative side rather than the business stuff. Because I'd like to see Lucasfilm maybe kind of stretch its wings a little bit and try some different stories, some different things. We've seen with what they've done with Willow. I don't know. I'd rather they pick who's the right person. You are never going to please everyone. You're never going to please the internet. There's no even trying. And in some ways, you're always going to have people that no matter what you do, they're going to have someone's going to have a problem with it, regardless of what it is. So they're never going to please the internet. No. Kenneth says, going to be in and out of the live chat due to having lunch. Hopefully having something nice. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Royal Rumble? Just finished watching it. It's like 4.5 hours. It's taken me most of the day to watch it in a couple of different sessions. Overall, enjoyed it. I thought the men's Rumble match was pretty good. Kind of predictable the winner. Definitely the women's match was good. The big main event match, it would have been kind of. I personally would have liked to had Sammy kind of nailed him with the bout or the title, and then Owens had won. That would have been much more of an impact than doing it after it. I don't know. The ending didn't make a lot of sense. Ricardo says, "Hi Roger, do you think that the MCU animated shows are in limbo? X-Men 97 could still premiere this fall." I think the trouble is with the animation stuff is I think they might be looking at, how well are they performing on Disney Plus for What If? What about the Star Wars shows maybe as well? I wonder if they're just going to slow them down a little bit. I definitely feel like Marvel is aware that they've overcooked with Phase 4. They gave us way too much stuff, too much things, and I think some of the stuff that's being pulled back is not necessarily, and maybe budgets as well. Disney Plus trying not to put as much stuff out there to try and save some money. I think X-Men 97 was. So the trouble is online now with Marvel. There's just people making stuff up and Star Wars as well. People just make stuff up on Twitter and it gets retweeted and we're like no sources, no where it comes from, and it gets picked up and it just flies around the internet and you can't actually pinpoint where that information comes from. So there's lots of rumors going around with lots of different shows. I don't necessarily think I think X-Men 97 is still going to arrive. I just feel like they're going to slow it down a little bit, give us all that little bit more of a between some of the Marvel shows. I think right now I've really enjoyed having what's it now, like 2 months since we saw about 2 months since Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's good. I think we need more of this. If Secret Invasion doesn't come till May or June, we got Ant-Man coming up in a few weeks' time. That'll be a lot of fun. Marvel was kind of having weekly releases on Marvel. It's fun for a little bit, but then it loses its steam. It just loses its steam. Definitely loses its steam. Right. Okay. So next question here. Connor says, "Have you tried Danny DeVito's Little Demon yet? I'm 4 episodes in and totally hooked." No, it's on my list of things to watch. Literally, I had a few days away with my wife, so the week before I was kind of catching up on trying to get everything done before I left. So I didn't watch a huge amount of stuff. Kaylee said, NBCU's Jeff Seal said that they're open to bolt-on acquisitions. THR reported that he was referencing the WWE, parts of Disney or Warner Brothers. I know we spoke about Hulu, but is that what he was talking about? There was a bit of this weird article on the Hollywood Reporter sort of talking about they were looking to buy, and it was really like parts of Disney. And I was like, well, what parts are you on about? I mean, we know there's been talk of maybe because Comcast has to sell its third stake to Disney for Hulu. A lot of people kind of getting a little bit confused with that one. Where, they're saying like $27 to $50 million. That they only have to give them a third of that, of whatever it's valued at. So I'm definitely thinking it's maybe more of the Hulu side. I can't really think what Disney would be wanting to sell to Comcast. Maybe some channels, maybe Freeform or something like that. But does Comcast need them? It seemed very vague and very kind of like weird, of like speculative. There wasn't really any juice in that in the article, like with reference to what they were even maybe selling. Disney are trying to obviously need to cut some costs. They've sold a lot of stuff anyway, but I'm not sure what they were referencing. It's very odd. Keenan says, "Are there any streaming services beside Disney Plus and Netflix that have raised their prices?" So HBO Max pushed their price up a couple of weeks ago for the launch of The Last of Us. Paramount Plus hasn't done it yet. The executive has said that there is going to be one coming. So I'm trying to think what everyone's like. Amazon recently, Amazon Prime's put up their prices. Everyone's going to do it. Prices go up. I'm at that age now where prices go up. The only things that go down are stuff that when they're trying to get rid of, they don't want anymore. Or that's generally usually the only time you see stuff on sale Or they do shrinkflation where it gets smaller, and that's why the price is dropping. Generally, prices are going to go up, and they will continue to go up probably yearly. Daniel says, what do you think led to the cancellation of the mysterious Benedict Society? Do you think Disney saw the writing on the wall and that's why it aired on Disney Channel first? I think with the Disney Channel, I think it was more of shifting the budget over. I think the cancellation was probably too expensive for how many viewers watch it. It's simple as that. Not enough people watch it to make it worthwhile. That's cost. I think some of the shows got second seasons in the pandemic just to kind of keep them going. I personally would have preferred it if they sort of said we're going to do a third and final season. That's how I would have liked it to end. But yeah. Keenan says, did you enjoy a Rumble? Yes, I did. I just spoke about that one. Connor says, now that Disney are airing older Disney originals on linear TV, could you see Hulu originals airing on FX to expand their reach? Definitely, I think you're going to see FX shows all going to FX channel. I think you could easily see Hulu and ABC, or sort of FX and ABC showing Hulu stuff. I think we're going to see a lot more of this moving forward as they start to utilize all their platforms to do the best to make some money. Pop it on there, save some money on the linear channels because they don't need to spend money on new content to fill that gap in that schedule. You could also squeeze some money over to the streaming division and kind of help with the budget there. So that's definitely good. So Kelly said, regarding to the other questioning we had here, I know they said bolt-on acquisitions, something WWE, but in my own opinion, that's far more of the WWE being a Disney property than an NBC property due to crossover potentials. I think the thing is this whole thing of Disney buying WWE and like Comcast doing it, both of them, it suits both of them. Literally, both of them could really do with it, definitely. So I definitely think that's a possibility. I think more Americans tend to think more that Comcast is the natural slot because it's on Comcast's platforms. Here in the UK, it is on Sky, but it's not fully on Sky. I subscribe to the WWE Network, so it doesn't really make a lot of difference to me. Kayla also said, if the rumors of Comcast getting Warner Brothers Discovery is true, I know there'll be assets on both sides that will be spun off or divested. DC, however, would benefit from Universal a lot more. If Universal could get hold of DC, that would be fantastic for the parks. That would be absolutely fantastic to do that. That would be really good because I've done, about 20 years ago, I went to the Australian like Warner Brothers park on the Gold Coast, and they had like a Superman and a Batman ride and stuff like that. And I know I think it's the Six Flags. I've never been to one in the US, to be honest. They've got some like Batman stuff, so it'd be kind of cool to do it. I think there's also a Warner Brothers theme park in Abu Dhabi. So yeah, there's lots of different stuff going on there. Ricardo says, I was having the thought of Disney giving some stuff to Universal in exchange for Marvel content like Hulk movies and TV shows, Howard the Duck or Hulu. Probably, I could easily see some assets being shared. I've had the very similar thought to you actually with this whole thing with Hulu, where Disney could, if say like Comcast wanted to take over Hulu completely, or in exchange for less cash, it's not really work. It's not really in their favor to the. But I could, maybe if Comcast wanted Hulu and kind of as part of the deal, get the East Coast rights back for Marvel. I think things like Marvel TV shows and Howard the Duck, etc., and giving them some free and some channels. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they did. They've done it before. They did it with Oswald. They swapped him for some sports presenter or something. Matt says, what do you think you'll get a new Star Wars movie? I think we're probably looking at least another 3-4 years away yet. Jonathan asks, will we get an Independence Day 3? Hope not. Independence Day 2 sucked. I thought it was awful, but I loved the first one. I absolutely love it. Matt says, when do you think we'll be getting the making of Andor? Maybe Star Wars Day, May the 4th. I don't really see when else they could do it. I mean, they could drop at any given time now, but if they hold it for May the 4th, that might be cool. With the Mandalorian and Bad Batch coming, they're not really in the shorts of having any like Lucasfilm content for a while. Let's see what else we've got here. Tan says, what do you think about the selection of this year's Oscars nomination and the fact that James Cameron got snubbed for Best Director? Kind of weird with I really enjoyed I think it's an amazing film. The second one is really good. It's one of my favorite films of last year for sure. It's like with all the technical stuff, it's like, I was just looking here. So looking here at some of the other Oscars here. So let's go for best best picture. So we got All Quiet on the Western Front. We got best pictures. It has been nominated for best picture, but not best director. So let's just have a look at best director. Yeah, I don't know. It's like Bounties of Intern. I thought that was a really good film. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I kind of stopped watching that one, and the other three I've not seen. So it's kind of different. I think Avatar as well, and especially Oscars as well, can get a little bit snooty sometimes with basically an animated film. I think that's probably the problem. I think it's more just like snootiness. I always think of the Oscars as a bit snooty. Dana says, I saw it on the Star Wars YouTube channel. That's not the official one. Iger spoke of there's a possibility that Gina might be back for season 4 of The Mandalorian Thoughts. No chance. It's all clickbait. There's just a lot of clickbait going on right now, just trying to get attention in the confusion of it all. I don't think there's anything of that in the slightest. Tracy said, is there any news on the Zorro series? It'd be great if they could get the show, the 1940s version with Tyrone Power, if they could make the collection of his movies. I think that's not uncommon about making a series. They announce it, they might announce that they've started filming, but then it will go quiet for months and months and months, usually until it's kind of at the point where they want to start advertising it to start coming out. We probably won't hear much more about that show until it's actually ready to roll. Matt says, I hear they're making a Wonder Man series. I think that, Wonder Man series or special. What are your thoughts? Honestly, never read it. Never read a Wonder Man comic. Yeah, give it a go. I've got no. It could be great. Sometimes actually coming in blind is great. So I think that would be pretty cool. Dana says, what's the one thing that you hope Iger announces at the quarterly earnings call? For me, if they brought WWE, ACM networks, or the Hulu deal is complete. I would love that. I personally, I would love for Disney to own WWE, because if they're going to sell it to a company, to somebody else, I would prefer it to be independent like it is. I would rather have had like Stephanie and stuff take over it. If they're going to sell it to a company, you might as well sell it to Disney, because they can do just as good a job as anybody else. And it means I can cover it more. So, and I've been a fan since I was like 7 years old, in the days of Hulk Hogan and that. Yeah, so for me, I'd like them to like just because I like the content, and I think it would be great on Disney Plus. Matt says, as far as like Hulu deal, I think we're too early in that. I think Iger's only really had like 6-8 weeks there. He's doing like a tour at the minute, kind of going around all the different divisions, finding out what he's doing, getting some feedback. It'll be interesting to see what he says on this quarterly. I don't think I don't think he's at a point where he can really buy things. I think AMC networks, I don't think he needs them. And I just feel the Hulu deal might be a little bit far off. Matt says, I see in the US they're adding more general entertainment. What do you think do you think we'll get some more comedies added? My general feeling right now is we're just getting scraps of what's available in the US that is not tied up on Hulu deals. And that's why we're getting all this A&E stuff right now. I think we will do eventually, but it depends. They've really got to come out with a strategy of building up Disney Plus, if they're going to go all in or not, rather than just have this weak source that we've had for the last year of just like a bit messy. I would love it to have that announcement, but I think it might be another couple of ones away yet. Tim says, is there any news on when Monsters at Work season 2 is going to start streaming on Disney Plus? No, there's been no date yet, just this year. Right, so we're just going to be doing the live questions for a little bit longer. I'm probably only going to do about another 10 minutes or so, because I can feel my voice cracking. Okay, let's see. Ricardo says, at the moment, it seems like this really wants to run Warner Brothers, especially Disney Studios. They just got to take care when which projects are green lit. I mean, hopefully, I think we're going to find out what DC have got planned for the next stage. It's going to be a couple of years, I think, before Warner Brothers can even be so. But I do think that it does look like it's being kind of stripped down, lined up, so they can be sold easier, which is not a bad thing. Yeah, and I think Comcast are probably in a better position to buy it. I don't know if Disney would be able to buy Warner Brothers from a big. I mean, they had hard enough job getting the Fox deal through. I think Warner Brothers would definitely highlight a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, I definitely think that they're going to get that one. Matt says, "What other content from the A&E History Channel would you like to see added to Disney Plus?" That's kind of the thing is for me is like A&E wasn't really a network here. It was like different ones like History Channel and stuff. And in Europe, they've kind of been they had to get split off when Disney brought Fox. They kind of had to, so it's a little bit harder with the. I gotta be honest, I don't really know anything on these channels. Everything that got announced, like I think Storage Wars, I think my father-in-law did watch, but I have got like Lifetime. What's on it? A&E, no idea what's on it. And History Channel, I've never watched the channel, and so it's a bit like all this stuff that's coming through. I've got no idea about any of this stuff. So it's like, as far as saying what content it is, I don't even know what it is. I'm just like Lifetime shows. I'm just going to see here, just see. Married at First Sight. Well, I like the Australian version and the English version of that. Dance Mums, Bring It. Let's have a look here. I'm just bringing up the A&E Network, the History Channel, Crime and Investigation, Blaze, and yeah, I don't watch any of these channels, so I've got no idea what is on them. So that does make life very, very tricky in terms of what's on it. Paranormal stuff on Blaze. I really have got like no idea what any of this stuff is. I just don't watch any of these just looking here now, see what's on there. There is no idea. River Hunters, I like that one, maybe. No, it's not even River Hunters. It's River Monsters. I like. Yeah, I've got no idea on that one. Kayla said, one reason I feel the WWE would be better off with Disney is because Disney Plus has a much larger reach than Peacock. Instead of WWE carrying Peacock, it should be WWE complement Disney Plus. I think it would actually make more and more sense within the ESPN bracket, and then you can put a few extra things on Disney Plus. But I think ESPN would greatly be valued to have that one. Ken also said, Disney should not buy Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers Discovery is better off under Comcast, since the Discovery networks would be the answer to Disney's National Geographic channels. Definitely. I remember going to America years ago, and they had like Discovery stores and National Geographic stores, and it was always like Animal Planet and National Geographic were always kind of like the opposites. And you added, that said, I can see CNN being divested completely, while TNT, TBS, CM, and TCM and Boomerang will be spun off when their merger company still owns it. I think the trouble is for a lot of these networks is the actual use of the linear channels. Because I know with HBO Max, when they brought up those like different brands and stuff, again, they don't travel well because they haven't those channels don't mean anything. I mean, I used to watch TNT 25 years ago with WCW on it. But TBS and all of it, they don't mean anything internationally. So they're kind of a really weird way of, like, they're not really brands. It's the same way really as like Freeform and ABC aren't really brands internationally. And it's kind of funny. It was funny. Someone put on social media the other day, they didn't realize that, for example, we didn't have HBO channels here in the UK. We used to have, it's always been on Sky, and so we don't have that same reference to HBO that a lot of, like in America. Hi to Noxwave. It's really sad that the mysterious Benedict Society has been cancelled after 2 seasons. I'm really hoping other streaming services might pick it up. I don't think any other streaming service is going to pick this one up. And I actually think this whole idea of other streaming services and channels picking up other shows that have been cancelled is so rare. Not a lot of the times they do it. And right now, all of the streaming services, all of the studios are all cutting back their budgets on how much they're spending on content. They've drastically overspending on the platform to get the services built. They're built and they need money. So they're cutting things. So I don't think they will get that big influx of viewers. If Netflix would cancel probably everything. And I just don't see anybody else picking up. And I think Disney might have the rights to the books and all the rest of it. I got zero idea of doing it. C-Tan, Disney buying Warner Brothers Discovery, no way. Can't imagine Marvel and DC under one roof. I don't think they would be legally allowed to. I think you'd have like the governments would be really looking into that, because you're then merging like too much stuff together that people could be in competition with. And also, as Kayla says, it should not. Marvel and DC must remain separate for competition. 100% agree with it. I feel like Marvel needs a strong DC to make Marvel better. And when DC is good, Marvel then has to be better. With DC being weak, Marvel's been able to take some liberties and take a little bit, take some so that maybe wouldn't have done if DC was running strong. I kind of feel like that would have been a way. C-Tan says Mysterious Benedict Society should be rebooted as an animated series. Yeah, I said that. I said that earlier today as well. I think that would work, but right now, I would say that brand is probably dead for maybe 5 to 10 years from Disney's point of view. They've tried it, it's failed. Would you spend money on that, or would you give something else a go? That's the way I would look at it. Ricardo says the A&E and History Channel shows were very popular in Latin America. CIS Los Angeles asked it to air on A&E. Disney didn't produce the dubbing, so it's not included on Disney Plus. That's the thing. Every country is a little bit different. It's just for me, I never watched those networks. So that's why I don't really know anything about what's on them. Matt says, do you think you'll be able to get a big update for Disney Plus this year? When you say a big update, you mean the app? I'm hoping it's got to be due for an update at some point, because it's been very, very. I mean, it hasn't had a big update since Disney Plus Day, like 18 months ago. We had a few little things with like the parental controls, but the overall look of the app hasn't changed at all. I think if they're going to do it, they might be holding off until they can sort out the hubs, give it a bit of lease of life. Maybe with some live stream. It kind of feels at the point now of like. It could do with a refresh. It could do with a little bit of a moving around and stuff. I definitely think that it definitely needs a little bit more of that, for sure. Matt says, what country do you see there's any originals from Earth to Disney Plus? What country do you want to see any originals from? More Japanese anime seems to be really popular. That would be great to watch. And I think animation works better because you can like dub it a little bit easier, and it's easier to watch when it's dubbed. So that would be my thing, would be more of that kind of things. But we're trying, I think Comcast will be sued by the FTC if it brought Warner Brothers or Wasp. I don't know what. Yeah, I think there would be some problems. I think there will be some legal issues if they did try and go for it. Kayla said, speaking of A&E, I saw an ad during the Rumble where Stone Cold was prompting WWE on A&E. If anything, I'd like to see A&E networks in the US become the new home for weekly wrestling. SmackDown can go to ABC. Yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on like that. It's all going to be coming up, and that is the key reason why, like, Disney and other companies are going to be trying to buy it. I definitely don't want like AEW buying it. I don't think Vince would do that, because that would be quite demeaning for him, and he's got offers from. Can't see him going for that one there, no matter how much money he throws at them. Babatroning, yeah, Warner Brothers. Let's just see if I missed any questions. Babatroning, how does Disney feel about the 1 Million Mums? No idea. I've got no idea what that is. Is that a TV show? Let's see what else we've got. I think that is all the questions. Right. So this is going to be the last call for questions, because I can feel my voice and I'm running out of liquid here. So on that note, guys, thank you very much for all of your questions. I'll be back next week with another live Q&A. keep a look at videos throughout the week, and obviously we've got a new podcast. Me and Jeremy kind of went through what we're looking forward to watching on Disney Plus in 2023. Also, check out the interviews we put up earlier today. Ricardo said, "Is it true that Bob Iger's original plan was to acquire Warner Brothers? Definitely, they could have divested some IPs. I think at the time, I think they could have done that one. I think that probably would have happened had they not done Fox." Matt says, "Do you think we're going to get an Ant-Man and the Wasp collection?" I believe we've already got an Ant-Man collection. I thought we already had one. Let me just have a quick look. Because I'll be honest, I've watched Ant-Man and I've watched Ant-Man and the Wasp. I also watched Endgame this week as well. So I'm just going to check here. So we've got no, we don't have an Ant-Man one. Yes, I suspect there will be an Ant-Man collection dropping very, very, very soon. Katie says, since we're discussing content, I saw there was almost a daily series on Disney Plus Hotstar called Love Island. Is that Love? I feel this is going to be the norm where cheap content on Disney Plus is on a frequent basis. I think we're going to see a lot more unscripted content, primarily due to cost because it's a lot cheaper to make. But also, if the writers end up going on strike, this might slow down production on a number of stuff, and we're going to see more unscripted content being used to fill the void. It'd also be quite good as well for Disney if they've got a backup of Marvel and Star Wars content for a while. So therefore, with all these shows and stuff. Dana says, I watched the assembled episodes, really enjoyed them. Good. It's a good way of kind of I haven't watched some of the recent ones. It's just been so much stuff. C-Tan says 1 Million Moms is a conservative pressure group in America. Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of them. Right. On that note, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you to all of our channel members. Keep a lookout for during the week. There'll be a post going out for new questions for next week. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.